play Karthus at all either, so this would be interesting.
The Graves ban was just basically, right now Graves is the strongest AD on this patch, so they just banned him since people have been first picking him all tournament. Those are they're really general bans by both teams. The Fizz ban is the only one that's super confusing because he's really not that strong. He's easy to counter in lane. Nidalee was for HotshotGG, and Karthus was uninformed. I'll be surprised here. It's probably going to be a Janna, but that would be very silly. If their support played Sona, you could expect him to pick it here 100%, but I don't think he does.
Oh, looks like they picked their top or their jungler here.
Yeah, that's another popular thing that a lot of the teams have been doing lately. There's certain champions like Gangplank, Skarner, and Udyr who can alternate between the jungle and top lane. So if you pick it first, it doesn't give the other team really any options for counterpicking because you don't actually know where that character is going to be. Right here, I'm expecting Sona and probably an AD.
The interesting thing here is that usually Caston's always banned, and it's being left up completely, like, and it wasn't first pick, and usually that's like the top first pick Europeans like, and even like a lot of American teams love to first pick him because he's just such a strong roamer and such a strong, like he can make dives happen, and he's got insane map presence just by being in the game. And there we go. That's what it. Like, he's extremely, extremely good. And I know GG plays him well.
I'm really curious. Caitlyn has so much poke that it's really dangerous to pick a sustainless support here. It seems, as an observer, that these picks and bans go very slow, but the 45 seconds really is not that much time to decide what you want to do. Sion is a very strong pick against Kassadin. That's one of the only things you can really play. If you don't have any hard CC against Kassadin, he's just going to blink and nutting their whole team. So here they're taking Swap, Stun, and Udyr. So if they actually catch a Kassadin in any of those, they have a good chance of bursting it down. He's definitely going to have to take Cleanse.
I actually don't think you need Cleanse because you can't cleanse out of Urgot.
You can't cleanse out of Urgot, but it's the Sion and the Udyr stun that he's going to want to...
I don't think the Sion stun is a big deal because of how... well, you might want to take it. It depends on how they want to do the early game, and it looks like Oddman wants to just extremely camp mid and just set up GG for the mid late. And if that's true, then you can just go for Ignite for a kill lane.
No, he's going to pick Blitzcrank. I'm pretty sure Elements just wants to play Blitzcrank. He enjoys landing hooks. I think he's too stubborn to play Sona. Sona's the right pick here, but I think he's definitely going to be picking this Blitzcrank. They did a Blitz Kate lane against CDE in the group stage as well. I expect him to lock in on that.
I mean, I think Blitz is a really good pick, like a really good pick, a niche pick, because like a lot of teams don't have experience against Blitz, and he turns the tides of a game if he lands a hook on carry. So it's very, very weird but strong. It's like you need a really good Blitz player to pull it off, though. I know Elements has been playing a lot of Blitz recently. I don't know if his team comp can do that. Like it looks like it might be able to do that. Their bottom lane is going to be very poke heavy, though. Like they might be able to pick an Alistar. They're going for a kill comp with Taric, or a very like harass heavy comp with Taric with lots of armor pen and armor break and like flat stuns to set up the Urgot combo. So that's going to be really hard to deal with because Sion's going to like to roam bottom. Like Sion roams a lot when he pushes mid, and bottom is like a really easy target for him to roam to because he's got a set up stun for him.
That's the easy mode Urgot lane. It's Taric stuns him so you can't miss your E, and then you spam 4 Qs on him. So
wow,
without sustain, that's pretty good. That's bottom lane is going to have one hell of a time staying alive because they have 4 hard CCs with Shaco ganks.
Yeah, Shaco is really going to be able to just destroy this game if they get an early kill on Odd One, which they definitely could be, like should, because Linek has like a setup for. I mean, Sion has a perfect setup for for Shaco, and Shaco will get like red buff with level 3 or level 2 and just gank mid, and they'll force a flash immediately off that. I don't know exactly what they can do against that. Like Maokai's gonna also be camping mid. I'd imagine will be camping mid, and it's gonna be ooh, they picked Aurelia.
Hotshot wants something to lane against Udyr, and I don't think Aurelia is the right choice. Do you think Aurelia can't trade with Udyr, right?
No. Aurelia takes about like 9 levels before she gets, or maybe a little bit less. It depends on how she like masteries and runes. But she like Udyr has a very, very, very strong like 1 to 9, and Aurelia gets good once she gets items because she does like 3 types of damage. The problem is like Udyr like trades extremely well, like better than almost any champion, and that's just not a champion that I agree with playing. Like I'd rather he just do like Skarner or something, and be able to pull Sion into the team fights and just destroy him. But I think they thought they didn't have much damage with that because they really wanted a more tanky DPS bruiser kind of deal. I don't agree with that. I think Skarner is the much better choice in this situation because he does well against both Udyr and Sion and like their whole team. Like, and he sets up really well with Blitz, and Blitz sets him up really well as well. So, well, I mean, we'll see how it works out. If Hotshot can go through the laning phase, he's not picking teleport, which I think is extremely important because that means he'll almost automatically lose the first dragon.
Right. France has a very, very early game comp. I look at every single one of their characters, and they all fall off late.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's 2 cleanses. So Jat was right in that GG was going to pick up a cleanse because I guess that is really good. But also, there's no...
Wow. There's no CV on CLG, and there is a CV on...
No, there's a CV. I think Blitzcrank picked up a CV. He just didn't go Flash, which is interesting. He decided to just go Exhaust. And Exhaust is really... I don't know. With Blitz, I thought it would be really good with Flash because it lets him immediately reposition himself to go for like a really strong hook or really strong like E into hook. So, I mean, the game's starting, and hopefully we'll be able to see some good stuff.
Yeah, so I'm just waiting to see whether we do get crashed by that graphic. They tend to like throw one out randomly. I'm just trying to listen for the Korean commentators to see when they're just going to suddenly go quiet. Yeah, we've had that happen a few times already this event. We've been ready and waiting for it
in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah, just midway through, boom, straight across. So there are your picks and bans, as you can see. And it's good to get an in-depth run-through of them. That's obviously a lot more in-depth than myself and Joe would ordinarily give you. So let's give you a rundown of the picks that they have. Yellow Star on Sion, Soaz on Udyr, Linak in the jungle on Shaco. Shaco does something we haven't seen in Europe for a long time, really, until when Shaco was nerfed. Oh, God, it's got to be 3-4 months ago now, probably, when he went through that initial phase. He was incredibly strong before that. Tidus on Urgot, Kuja on Taric down the bottom there. A lot of stun on the Team France for Canada, or California as I somehow managed to call them the other day. It is going to be KX. Oh, God, we've got to pause already. That's not a good start. It's going to be KX and Kalian, the odd one on Maokai in the jungle, something he's been playing a lot of lately. Certainly did it in the qualifiers, and I believe he played it at MLG as well quite a bit. We also have Hotshot GG on Aurelia, something we've not seen. I don't remember seeing him in a tournament on Aurelia.
I don't think he's played Aurelia in a tournament. He went on a bit of an Aurelia binge and sort of solo queue when he was trying to pick it up, and I have never seen him do well on it. So it'll be interesting what happens this game.
If he's been trying to compare himself to Wicked or something like that on Aurelia, it's a little hard to do. The man's been playing it for like 6-7 months straight, I think. Big Fat GG, of course, on Kassadin. You talked about the Kassadin being pretty much the insta-pick when he's available. And it is true. He's almost banned in every single game we do. And it's just a little strange whether France weren't quite thinking about it or whether they're just not that worried about it. Whether the build they've got just thought, you know what, we're going to allow them to take that.
I'm really confused with France. I'm a little confused with France's picks. They really have no late game damage. Shaco, Urgot, Udyr, Taric all fall off late. The only thing that might carry through is if Sion gets big enough to one-shot Kassadin. But with Cleanse, that's not going to happen.
And of course, we've got Blitzcrank in there. Blitz is pretty much permabanned. Every time I've covered the Nordic East server side, he is pretty much permabanned in there in that suit.
Blitzcrank?
Yeah, Blitzcrank is pretty much perma-banned in Nordic East, and we always wonder why, because we never actually get to see it played. So there's obviously some awesome Blitzcrank players over there. Personally, for me, I think it's a dangerous pick, because if you miss that hook, then there's not a lot with him. I mean, his ulti's pretty good. It's a good AE silence, etc. when you do get in there, but outside of that hook, if you miss it, if you're a bad Blitzcrank player, which you see so often,
you're beyond useless if you're a bad Blitzcrank player.
Yeah, there's no point.
You basically just have to try to flash into people and punch them. That's not that useful, because you're not tanky enough to do those sort of things.
And one thing we've noticed in this tournament, we've not seen many invades. But the jungle invade has really gone down in this tournament. I don't remember having seen one, whether there was any in group stage that you guys would have seen.
Well, hold on here. This is interesting. I don't know if they're going to restart, because Odd One still hasn't reconnected.
Yeah.
And that's especially bad for Maokai, because he needs to set up saplings before he starts his jungle clears. So if they don't restart this game, he's going to be at a huge early disadvantage, and it looks like they might restart.
Yeah, it looks like that's what the discussion's all about, is obviously talking about. You can see 5 referees around one player. I think that's a little overkill, maybe.
Slightly. They need to flex their... Well, they had so many referees here since they were running 8 concurrent games. Now that there's just one, I guess they're just a little stacked up.
They all want to be on stage at once, yeah. I mean, how has the tournament area gone for you guys? It seemed to run pretty smoothly.
It ran pretty smoothly. The setup time was a little tight in certain situations, but the referees were actually fairly professional, and they gave away warnings, but that was mainly because they just wanted to speed things up.
Yeah, you guys got a warning, didn't you?
We did get a warning. Voyboy lost his badge, his actual player badge, and they were very strict about everyone wearing their badges at all times.
Yeah.
And that was the warning,
yeah,
essentially.
So it's all right. It's to be expected. The crowd building there. Not looking overly excited. There's a few actually wait. Oh, here we go. We're starting to get signs coming out now. This is what we like to see. The what? The hunt begins. Okay.
I don't know what that means.
No.
Odd One is still disconnected, and they seem to be continuing with the game, so...
Yeah, and like you mentioned, no, he's in now. He's moving, but, I mean, they can't, surely. I mean, they're already in the jungle phase, pulling the golems.
Shaco he could snowball this hilariously in his favor if he gets a gank off.
That is a massive unfair advantage. I mean,
absolutely.
Even to my eyes, just seeing that, I mean,
because he can invade his red jungle here, and there's no way Maokai can stop it.
Which is what he's going to do, yeah.
He's going to hop over and take... He's probably just going to take red right away.
Yeah, so he'll just set up his boxes and just start taking for it. Yeah, he will do, yep. And rightly so. I mean, he's only playing the advantages that he's got, but we can see that it's a pretty unfair advantage. So
absolutely. Maokai can't even get blue buff, and he is one of the, if not the most reliant on blue early game, because he will himself so fast spamming saplings.
So we're seeing the little trade of blows there, and that is first blood in middle. Well, actually, Soaz. Wow, so Soaz is playing mid against Gaston. Also, GG also taking out very low. Linak trying to finish him off. Won't have enough, though. That heal should save him. And really, this is going to snowball in the favour of France, which is exactly what they need. You said they had a very strong early team, but Soaz in a 1v1 beating GG there, really without any help at all.
Absolutely. I don't GG died without using Flash, and Udyr killed him without using Ignite. So I really don't understand what happened there, because there wasn't even a game.
They're just trying to make it a fair game. Give him an even chance. I'm not too sure what's happening. Where they're beginning to think it was going to be a restart. Now we can see the red being taken by Linak there. And that is a full invade as he hops over. Is he even going to go for golems? He's going to try and take Hotshot. Has Hotshot pulled him back? I'm trying to see where his health is. No, he's still half
health. Seems a little too low. If he tries to dive Hotshot here, he's going to give him double buffs if he does anything.
But he's going to surely get...
This is a situation. A lot of times when there's a really large creep wave, you'll try to gank Hotshot, even if it doesn't work, just because you don't want to get the experience. But they obviously thought it was a little too dangerous.
And he's just going to set up the boxes for the golems down the bottom lane. I can also see he's been pushed pretty heavily down the bottom there. They're seeing the odd one coming back, and he's going to realise, I have no jungler left. All I've got is one little tiny lizard sat in the red buff area. But I think he's probably going to be expecting it as well. Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Comes in, goes, oh great, that's taken. Comes around the side, oh great, that's taken as well. And he's got no wraiths either. So he really, the odd one is going to fall behind here.
He's just extremely far behind. He could not buy boots on his first back, if you see. All he did is picked up 2 wards and 4 health potions.
Oh, look at that. That's just blatant, straight in your face. I'm going to walk past and put a box here. And the old one knows it as well. I mean, he's a very experienced jungler, and obviously, as yourself, you jungle all the time. I mean, Maokai as a jungler, he's become a lot more popular, certainly with the Odd One. It's something you've looked at?
I've tried to pick up Maokai a couple times. As a personal style, I don't like Maokai because if his ganks don't work immediately or if he falls behind, he gets incredibly useless as the game goes on. And I think that's what's going to happen here because he is just... If you don't get a kill in the first 5 minutes, I've never seen a Maokai do well in a game.
So, as it is at the moment down the bottom here, Chaos has a pretty hefty lead in CS. You can see he's around about 10 ahead at the moment down the bottom. Kind of expected elements is probably going to just force them away, and Urgot's not really going to be too aggressive early on in case he does get hooked, which is going to hurt early levels. And look at that, Shaco even putting the boxes down in the mid there just to mess with Big Fat LP. So the Odd One looks like he's going to try and go and invade, go for the Wraiths here. He has got that blue buff now.
He's going to try to sneak in behind Udyr here, and they're going to try to change flows on him, but I have a feeling Udyr's just going to walk away. The only reason he might die is because he's putting 3 points in Tiger and only 1 in Turtle, which is uncommon. Usually late Udyr's max Turtle.
And he will get caught out. Will he have enough to get away from this one? Will he have to blow his flash? He does have it available. No, he doesn't have it available actually. He turns around, puts the Ignite down on Big Fat LP. That immediately gets cleansed off, and he's just going to walk away from this one, like you say. Did get taken a lot lower than he'd like to, I think. But that's going to give Big Fat LP a little bit of free lane, obviously getting taken down earlier on. He's 17 and just 18 CS to 36. That's quite a big difference already, which is obviously all about that kill at the start.
That's actually quite surprising because you pick Urgot to win the lane. So if you don't win the lane with Urgot, then what are you doing? It's that bottom lane is going to cause a lot of issues later in the game.
Meanwhile, at the top there we can see Hotshot GG going on towards Yellowstar. I think he might just get away from that one. Oh, he went a little bit too early there. The Odd One coming up to help. If he'd have just waited a little bit. I'm watching Linak down the bottom as well. You can see the pings in that bottom corner of the map as he clears out the wards. We can see the double ward there. I'm guessing one's about to time out. It's the downside of the spec mode. We never know the hit points
that was actually a vision ward that France placed in the bush. I've seen more and more teams doing this, especially the European teams. If you don't know, there's 4 general spots where every team wards, and that's any exit to the jungle. So what a lot of teams have started doing, since they're very expected places for wards, is they just spend the 50 extra gold and get rid of the other team's ward, and it's usually worth it.
We're seeing a potential dive on towards Big Fat LP here as Linak goes. Itzoaz gets the stun down. He will go down and walk away from that one. Turtle shields and just eats that last tower hit. Unfortunately for him, the Odd One was setting up just above, but chose to just go around the backside of Wraiths the minute they went for the gank there. And it's working out quite well. And you can see that also down the bottom, Sion working his way in towards the brush there. What we like to call the ninja gank, as he tries to sneak his way in there. Obviously going to try and get something on towards KX here. KX out farming quite considerably, and he does manage to go and get the stun. That gets cleansed off quite easily. That was a pretty poor stun because they both double stunned at the same time and just cleansed. Thank you very much. I'll clear them both out.
Right now, I think there's an issue with Sion laying top anymore, because Sion against Aurelia. Oh wait, never mind. You see Odd One coming in at the bottom, and Blitz misses the hook. But if Sion, I don't really think Sion can lane top anymore. I think they're gonna lane swap Sion back mid, because Aurelia does really well against Sion. Like Bruisers do really well against Sion in the long lane. She can only do burst, and she can like chase. Oh, Fury comes from behind, and he gets exhausted. And I think he's gonna die here if he doesn't have flash. Oh, he tries to go for the kill on Chaos.
Yeah, he was trying to try and get a last-ditch effort of a stun on towards KX, who wisely just backed away from it. Like you mentioned, Udyr has gone up top now towards Aurelia. Let's have a look towards the lane phase stage. The CS 54 to Udyr and to Aurelia. Farm shot GG, as Daniel Klein likes to call him, on 49. And he will continue to stay up there. Looking like Soaz is actually going to come back to mid lane though against Big Fat LP. Maybe he's just thinking, should we just completely punish Kassadin down, or should we let Sion have the farm? Sion now coming up mid, so we're probably going to have a swap around at the moment. Obviously they'd push the top lane. Maybe they're going to go for a gank and then pop.
I'm looking at the CS numbers here, and I was going to say it was extremely smart of France to put Udyr mid against Kassadin, but at the same time that put top lane in a huge disadvantage, because Sion has no items, and he's still level 5. He's extremely far behind. Sion would have been okay against Kassadin. They probably wouldn't have gotten that first blood, but at least they'd have 2 farm solos. And right now, yeah, Shaco with Dragons. This is very aggressive. They're going to get this.
Yeah, and of course Shaco can set up quite easily for this one. Sion now bolted back, and that's going to be much needed gold for Yellowstar there. So it is Yellowstar playing on Sion. Important to note, It is a switch around of the players. Tider's playing the AD carry this time. They're going to try and dive in towards Chaos. Chaos will be the target, and they do manage to try and get the swap off. Will flash away. I think he might even escape this one. Instead, they're on the tower. They've got to be careful. They can't tank elements on that tower. Mana Shield is not going to pop because he doesn't have any mana left. He does finally get the kill, but it was really Chaos they were after, and he's just backed away quite happily.
Cleaning up. He's out of mana. Casting can't do anything else.
Chaos is just going to come back, so he's going to have to back away from this one. Everyone's had gone down. They saw Big Fat LP coming in and wisely step away. So, despite the fact they did only get the one, it still puts them in the lead. It's only 1k gold though, not a huge advantage, but all this time it's been going on. Irelia has been up that top, farming away. 73 CS now, and they're going to be putting quite a bit of damage on towards that top tower. Hopefully we're going to look at it. Yeah, you can see it's already down half health. So Hotshot really is just completely farming, and looking at the levels, you can see he's level 9. If Yellowstar goes back there, he's only level 6. That's a huge difference. So you can see that Linak is going to join him up there, but they're going to really have a problem with Hotshot here.
One of the things that a lot of people don't realize is how important wards top are, because the whole reason they were able to dive so safely and so fearlessly is they saw Maokai in the ward top, so immediately they knew the jungler couldn't make it down to Helldragon, Hotshot didn't have teleport, and there was no way they could have enough people down there to contest. All because the ward on completely the other side of the map saw it.
So very nice play from France so far, and you mentioned they got a pretty early game team, so they really need to make these count. Any chance that Gangster get, but again, Canada really are putting the pressure on the turret. You can see that turret almost down. He managed to get the hook on towards Titus there. Titus is going to back away from that one. Element's just saying, yeah, I can grab you whenever I like through a group of minions. It's that easy. Big Fat LP obviously had that rough start. He's at 58 CS. You can see he hasn't built that catalyst that protects her up just yet. Soaz is certainly ahead of him in build, and CS-wise, he's catching up now, but he's still at least 10 behind. And obviously, I mean, we always talk about the CS when you're 10, 20 behind, but really, how does that reflect to yourselves when you're in lane?
When I'm in lane, like the way usually the lane, especially if it's top, is usually a farm lane. And the only way you can really quantify how well you're doing in lane, especially as a solo laner, as myself, even as a mid laner, is how well you're CSing, how well you're last hitting while not taking harass. So a lot of times the solo laners will quantify and how well they do just simply based on CS numbers. And a number like a 30 difference means you're losing the lane horribly. And you just see odd one flashes out from a gank, and GG tries to come back and save, and they might look to turn with Aurelia coming bottom, or coming mid, but I don't know. I think Francis is gonna go. Yeah, Francis is gonna leave.
Aurelia is going to turn into a really big issue here late game. France doesn't have a late game AD. Both their solos. Udyr does a lot more magic damage than people realize. Once Aurelia gets that wit's end and a little bit more tanky, she is basically going to be able to dive in 1v5 and do a lot of good things.
Yeah, in the meantime, Kex is also getting effectively free farm down the bottom here. Elements has been buying him a lot of spare time down there. He's 10 ahead. It's not that great a deal, but it will certainly build up. Like you mentioned, Urgot's going to fade out towards the end there. Meanwhile, Kex is going to start getting those Infinity Edge Bloodthirsters in there and really doing a lot of damage with complete protection, like you say, of Aurelia, Maokai, Blitzcrank. Plenty of stunts in there. Again, they get the hook on towards Kuja there. Elements landing it nicely. Elements will quite happily take this one. Net shot straight across the Kuja. They're going to try and back it out here. Kex has used his cleanse up already. Linux going to surely get down and get the finish kill on him. It could be a double kill here, I think. No. Kex is going to try and flash away from this one, I think. With net shot surely be back up by now. Will he be able to get through the trees in time? No, he will not. And instead, Elements actually backed out of that one, and wisely so, I believe. And this could be the top turret going down here. Yeah, they've had to back away from that one. Udyr is thinking, I cannot compete. And that will be first turret down. That's going to certainly bring the gold level. And in terms of Linak, look at that. He just wants to get another gank. He's been very aggressive, Linak, this time around. We saw him playing Karthus yesterday against CDE. It's not a normal jungler we've seen. Apparently it happened in MLG qualifiers. I think we saw the odd one playing it, so people on the internet land have told me their infinite wisdom. These guys have the time to look through these things. Is it something you've ever thought about? I mean, a Karthus jungle?
I've done it a couple times before. It's actually very odd. It's kind of hard to explain. I don't like it personally because Karthus is one of those characters who gets the most CS on the team and gets extremely farmed, and you can't get that from the jungle. So it's quite iffy. I wouldn't personally run it. No.
Well, from our point of view, you kind of generally want Karthus to be fed pretty well
Exactly.
early on, so obviously you can make use of that ulti and really make it count early stages where it's doing the most damage. But as it is, they've had a tower trade, so you can see the gold advantage still slightly in favour of France. It's only 1k there, so nothing major at the moment. Elements putting the ward in that tribe, but like you mentioned, we have seen a lot of pink wards. We can see a pink ward on the odd one at the moment. Poland certainly used a lot. They had, I think,
It's
5 or 6
it's
at one
definitely
point.
a region thing. I personally like this, and I've wanted to do this for a while. They buy far more pink wards instead of getting oracles. U.S. teams, if they want to clear wards, get oracles. A lot of the European teams, if they want to clear wards, just pink ward because they know the spots where it's going to be.
And at the moment, France do have an oracle on it. Just got a glimpse of one down
Now
the
they have
bottom
oracles
there.
and pink wards. So.
Yeah, they've got the double job, and they're going to take, I think, an easy dragon here. I don't think Canada are going to be able to do a lot about it. They'll take that initial war, but the dragon will be gone down. Whether they're going to be able to initiate in time, the dragon does go down. Can they catch anyone out? They do manage to get the stun on Big Fat LP. Not the ideal situation. The Ogre's going to put his ulti down on top of them. Elements also going in there. They're going to try to get around. Aurelia's going to try and do as much damage, but he's going to surely get caught out. Big Fat LP's been forced out of the fight. That would be Maokai and Urgot both going down at the same time. Hotshot GG, they need to deal with him. You mentioned it. He's starting to become a problem. He has got away. Linak's going to surely get a kill. No, they're all going to back away from this. Linak's going to try and follow, and he could get burst down. He will get burst down by Big Fat LP. Now he's going to get stunned. That's going to be Big Fat LP following. Elements also going to get stunned on there. Taken down very low. He will go down, and so as surely might follow this one. A very close fight between them, but France coming out massively on top there. And that was a 3 for 2, which equates to a 7-3. They picked up the dragon. They take the blue buff, and that has really worked out well for France. But like you mentioned, they have that early team. We're hitting the starting to hit the early levels now.
Gold advantage. And even with the first blood and the 2 dragons, that fight was still extremely close, and they actually didn't gain that much from it because they didn't kill anyone with kill. Udyr is the one that's 4-0, and he does fall off late. I'm still worried about their late game, even though they're winning so well early.
So we'll see how it equates at the moment.
What happened that hurt them really big time is how poorly Sion did top, because as soon as Sion had to go mid, Kassadin caught up in CS. Sion's actually done worse in lane than Kassadin, and Kassadin is pretty much the only sort of hyper carry in this game. So if they can't keep him down, he's going to carry.
But a fed Udyr is a dangerous thing as well.
Absolutely.
He is 4-0-1, and he's out CS'd. Certainly Kassadin, I guess we can measure him against, but I mean, not many tend to outfarm Hotshot GG when he comes in the game because he just stays up that top lane the whole game. And obviously when he can just pop his ulti like that and just say, you know, just clear away quite happily. Big Fat LP, he did pick up 2 kills in and amongst that, and we thought there was a few too many dangerous there. So as taking the tower when he didn't really want to. He's going to turtle shield up and try and tank that tower down. Elements though coming around the side at the moment. Will he manage to get the hook on him? So as he's just going to walk away from this one. I don't think he's going to be able to get in there. Overdrive views, that's going to run out. We do have 2 coming down river. That's surely going to catch out Kuja. Kuja is going to have to flash away. Obviously has that oracle there, and he will get away from that one quite happily. Yeah, he's just going to back out of there. Although Elements is going to try and overdrive and get that hook, but it's not going to happen. Meanwhile, Chaos is actually off wandering, and they're actually leaving Urgot to free farm down the bottom there at the moment.
Right. That flash by Hotshot was basically... I've spent 2 years playing with 450 range flash, and now they reduced it by 50.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't quite get his Q off once he flashed.
Just seen an invade, actually. They've managed to hook in on towards Yellow Stars, going on towards Elements. He's going to surely drop down. Yes, he will. And the old one nearly actually dived in there and wisely chose not to. And Yellow Star picking up the kills. You can see he's had to stack the Dorans there because obviously he had the issues with the items earlier on. So whether he can actually start to get a couple of kills in there, that will counter that farm he was lacking. That will be the mid turret down though. So that is 2-1 at the moment. And really, he's just working as a stun bot and hoping he can pick up the kills.
They're really starting to use their control from the two
they're going to come around the back of Chaos.
More with the Oracles and the Vision. They're getting a lot of picks with their stun-heavy team.
So has Udyr been spotted? Chaos has spotted it, and you can see Urgot going one side. Tarek's coming around. Actually, he's got to be careful because Tarek's now been dived on.
From behind.
You can see Kassadin is all over him. Sion's closing in. We're still watching Chaos for some God knows what reason. They have managed to switch back the camera now. But they're surely going to get Yellow Star caught out. Elements is going to get a hook on one of these. Does manage to get the punch. Will put the ulti down. That's going to silence Yellow Star. He's not going to be able to get away from that one. Finally, the cameraman actually catches up with what we're doing. And meanwhile, they're still continuing to chase on Chaos. Soaz does use his cleanse there. There's a lot of damage going out there. Surely going to get closed off. No, the rest of the team are coming around. We finally get a vision on it. Chaos does go down, but Soaz is going to follow because the rest of Canada have loaded. And Titus is going to have to get the hell out of there. Hook will surely come in. Good use of Flash, managing to just to get out of there. But, you know, France actually getting caught out there. They were going all aggressive, and that's going to be Kuja going down as well. Elements might go down to the turret. No! Urgot managing to get the lock on just at the end there. But like we mentioned, they'll focus so heavily on Chaos there. That will be the top turret going down to Linak. And really, he needed to be in that fight. He's had such a good jungle phase, and that they kind of missed him there. But Kuja just got completely caught out. I don't understand why he was stood around waiting at blue.
Neither do I. They needed to close in on Caitlyn faster. They just got ran around in circles. One thing that really is going to hurt here is Tarek lost Oracle. So even though it says there's a 2.5k gold advantage, you can obviously subtract the 400 for what he just lost.
And plus the 400,
and he built. Yeah. He bought another one and consumed it. He's still only on 1 gold per 10 item, whereas Elements has 2. So even though Elements has died 4 times, he is far ahead Tarek in gold.
Yeah, and the boots of mobility now out as well. So and just basic boots on Tarek. So like you mentioned, boots of mobility are like a much needed item on a support Blitzcrank. You can zip in there with the overdrive as well running and try and grab that hook, which we saw on Yellowstar. That's why he went down. So Yellowstar trying his best to keep up. You can see he's got the needlessly large rod on there now. It's going to go towards the Rabadon's death cap. Just going to keep our eye. And Kuja actually hasn't bought that Oracle, so he couldn't even afford to get that second Oracle, like you mentioned. And meanwhile, Hotshot continues to farm down the bottom there. 162 CS now. He's a long way ahead of anyone else. And also, Chaos is quite happily passive farming, just slowly building up towards that Bloodthirster. Meanwhile, Urgot has completed the Bloodthirster, but like you say, he is going to tail off towards the end here.
I didn't get the timer on the last dragon, but France is very silly to be forcing here because after Kassadin gets this blue buff, they're going to have 2 blue buffs on CLG to 0 on France. And if they have, with the way these teams have especially CLG has a very kite-centric comp, and they engage where they want. The double blue buffs in any prolonged fight are going to win it for them.
You can see the dragon is now up. And at the moment, though, Canada are quite split across. They need to be careful not going into this fight split. I mean, how do you always think of that? Actually, we'll go into it afterwards because I think it's going to engage at any second now.
Right.
But so many
France
times
tries to force this dragon. See, CLG knows how strong they're right now. That's why they keep running into France. What they should be doing is they should be pretending to be scared so France starts dragon and they can catch them in the pit. But that's not what they're doing.
Yeah, they're not falling for it. Linak does get caught in a trap there. He can't hold back. Sorry, I had to go with the Elvis lyric there. And we're just waiting for France to come in. And you can see this is what you were talking about. Canada are going to start forcing the issue. And France are like, should we continue pushing
France
it?
knows how strong they are right now.
Oh, and it's managed to get the hook, flash straight up, and they're going to go straight in engage. And now it's an insta-pop Kuja there. Soaz is also taken down very low. Not really the ideal target. It's going to be Tinners instead. They're going to switch across to Urgot. Urgot will go down. Meanwhile, they work on towards Soaz. They're actually split targeting. Not the greatest idea, and it's actually giving France a slightest chance to come out of this fight alive, but I don't think it's going to happen. Actually, Linak desperate to get the kill on the odd one, and that could be a team ace. Will he manage to finish off? Will he get the hook elements here? Does have the rest of his team. Gets the hook, gets the punch, overdrive, hotshot dives through. Thank you very much, Big Fat LP. Will take a complete. It was an ace. Kuja did go down, despite the fact it didn't say ace. He popped that quick. He's managed to respawn.
Lost another Oracles. Right.
And, of course, that's going to be the dragon. So a 5 for 0 makes it 10-10, all square, and the gold advantage now heavily in favour of Canada. Like you mentioned, it shows it's only 1k, but we know for a fact he's had to get that double oracles in there. And really, that is a big turnaround, just like you called it, really. It's almost like you play this game.
Something like that. You could see after the contested fight, the second dragon, just how close that was. And just with the way France's champions scale, they need to get extremely lucky, and COD needs to play extremely poorly for them to turn this game around again.
So
they have no way of killing Aurelio or Kassadin. Even if Scion bursts a full combo on someone, essentially their entire team has to focus the same character, but the only characters they need, like a Kassadin, but he has cleanse and 2 blinks, so I just don't see how they can win team fights.
I mean, he's only going to do, 1,000 damage burst at the most, I think, at the moment.
Most.
Yeah.
And Udyr would have to close into melee range in order for that to work.
Oh, Linux get completely caught out here. And this is where things start going wrong. He's just desperation moves trying to get onto his stance there. I think it was just basic attack trolling there, but he got taken down pretty simply, caught out completely. And I think Canada are just going to force his way all the way up the mid. This could be the beginning of the end for France. The inner turret's certainly almost going to go down here. And you can see Elements trying to get across to the side there, trying to get that hook in. Doesn't quite manage it. Yellow Star trying to get aggressive. And just look at that singular burst from Big Fat LP there, stripping his hit points
down.
And
CLG basically just pinged their side lanes. They have both sides shoving. There's about 2.5 waves in this lane. Elements is going to pick up. He'll get level 11, more damage on his ult. A lot of times when teams are shoving mid, the inexperienced teams forget about their side lanes. When you have an advantage like this, as you can see, they now have 3 people getting experience, whereas France just has the people in mid lane. So it's always important to make sure the sides are pushing if you're going to be shoving mid, and that's why CLG backed off there.
Indeed, so just Big Fat LP just baiting them in there, saying, yeah, well, I've got the whole team here now, so let's catch them out. And you can see Elements is coming around. Yellowstar needs to be careful. Clairvoyance of his own was down on him, so again, just like you say, Hotshot GG off up top, now into 200 figures, and heavily farmed, heavily tanky as well. He's got that Aegis in there, he's got the phage in there. Is he going to go for a Frozen Mallet? What's he going to switch towards? He's got that Wit's End that you talked about earlier on.
Right.
And now he's got the Crit Cloak in there. Infinity Edge now completed as well by Chaos in comparison. Trinity Force actually complete by Urgot, so he's sorry for Udyr, sorry. Udyr really is the only one that's actually been built up enough, I think, on the French team. And
to do any damage. But even with all of his items, he will still lose a 1v1 against Aurelia. So even though he won his lane so hard, Hotshot, because of how poor Sion did, was just able to free from all game, got the couple of kills in the mid game, and not good.
It's not good. Not good for France at all. And they're certainly feeling it, and it's looking that way as well. CLG now pinging up towards Baron, so they're going to have to clear out the wards first before they go about doing that. They do place a couple of wards themselves. Just need Elements, is a long way away though, so he'll be up there shortly. So they're going to continue pushing down the bottom. They've got full vision really. There are no wards in and around the bushes. We can see that Chaos continuing to push. Ping from France down, and they're going to go straight towards Hotshot GG there. They just caught a glimpse of him, and wisely Chaos will back away from that lane. But it's actually keeping the French team completely spit. Meanwhile, Canada can choose to completely push mid or go back off a Baron, which is looking like they might well do. There is that ward there that's going to catch the vision of Canada.
Jiggo's doing the only thing he can do at this point is try to split push, because if he tries to go into any fights, he's going to explode. All it takes basically is 1 CC, and CLG will have enough damage to take that back out.
And you can see this is exactly, France are just fighting over the minions really effectively, trying to blow, get as much gold as they can. France now actually in the river. You can see Linak is porting back. Kuja's just trying to clear out any wards. Doesn't manage to find them. Elements tries to put that ward down to see if he can get a hook through.
Right, he's just trying to ward bait blitz hooks.
And wisely backs out there. Big Fat LP as well. So this is the kind of passive play we get between them, but it often happens. It's actually what Riot want to try and remove from the game. I mean, I'm not too sure if it's even possible, because it's just tactical play. France know that they can't win a fight at the moment, so they're trying to farm up. Canada kind of know they're strong,
but Canada isn't quite strong enough to fight on a turret.
Yeah.
Plus, they don't necessarily have a very high damage Baron team, so they don't have a very huge Baron threat, even though they're far ahead. If they started, they can't kill it fast enough.
And I'm just going to correct the team name as well. It actually, they did mention it should be Millennium. The team name should be Millennium. JNEGGRET is Kuja's name apparently. So that was where the issue was raised. You can see it on the main screen at the moment on that scoreboard. But it should be Millennium. We've been informed. And they've managed to put C Logic, which I don't think I've ever seen Counter Logic called that. It's normally CLG or CL Gaming, but look at this. They're just going to steal the red away.
I don't know why they haven't jumped on Sion yet, because they could win that fight if they did.
Oh, and that's going to go diving in. He's going to surely get caught out there immediately. The Malfoy ulti goes down. They do manage to get the pop straight away on the Big Fat LP is being harassed by Soaz, but I think KX is just sat at the back quite happily picking off everyone. Delstars had to flash away. Big Fat LP will go down, but Soaz manages to flash away cheekily. And Titus as well, so flashes something from Bone. Kuja also flashing, but the Oddball was already dashing on him, so he went straight through. And that was a 2-for-1 And Yellow Star is almost certainly going to go down here. I don't think he's going to be able to escape this one. He's going to continue running. Will he be able to buy enough time to get away and get that 10-second countdown, isn't it, before you actually take damage? So he's going to try and die to the tower. Problem is, I think he's got too much hit points, so he's going to have to run past one,
he's going to have to run by a couple towers.
Oh,
and there's the damage.
Yeah, there's the damage, so it's not going to work out for you.
Actually, I want to see what happens here, because he didn't actually take damage from Chaos. His shield ate the entire hit, and then if he... Oh, Hotshot got him.
That's
if he would have managed to dodge Hotshot, Chaos would not have gotten that kill. Because if all your damage gets hit by a shield, you don't get credit.
Gets blown out by that shield, so that's going to be another free dragon.
And even though that fight was a 2-for-1, CLG won that much more because France used all 4 flashes and CLG only used 2.
Yeah, so blowing all the summoners, they're locking onto the odd one. I don't think they're going to be able to finish him off. Although Titus actually, yeah, he's got a lot of damage on him. He gets the crit there as well, which helps. Odd one will flash through. Will Soas managed to get round. He's going to get the slow, and then Titus gets it. Actually didn't get any assist there either, because I don't think Soas managed to touch him once there. It is 14-12, 42.4k to 38.9. So still the gold advantage heavily in the favour of CLG. Of course, the towers are even, but it's not really telling on how the game is going. France looking like they're thinking of setting up for the Baron here. There is actually
try to force a 4v5.
There's no wards whatsoever. Hotshot GG is going to come around. He's going to spot them. He's actually going to get trigger off. Oh, Kuja's got completely caught out of position there. Kuja's going to go down. The snipe shot's going to come in. It's actually Aurelia that finished it off. Tidus go down as well. Hotshot GG, they're focusing on Hotshot. They're going to get the kill on him, but they've lost so much hit points in doing so. Meanwhile, Chaos at the back there is just quite happy. Cannot be touched. He's just picking off them. Linak is going to get taken down in a second. Soas will follow as well. And that is going to be a clean sweep again from Canada. They really are in a dominant position. And, you know, this is a best-of-3 game. It's certainly looking like Canada are going to take the first one. But, I mean, what do you think France are going to have to do coming into the next game? That it's looking like they've potentially lost this one, barring Canada making a complete hash of the situation.
Right. They haven't done it so much lately. But CLG is very, very good at picking late-game compositions and stalling for late game. So trying to pick an early-game centric team comp against CLG is pretty bad, because they are the best team at stalling, not falling too far behind, and just waiting to power up. So France definitely needs to pick more hyper carries. They need stuff like Vayne, Karthus, Cassiopeia, things that can carry into late game, because they have none of that this game.
I think aside from the lack of carries that France has, they don't team fight correctly. They focus the wrong targets, especially even when they're ahead. Especially when they're ahead as a early game comp, like Jad said. Like, you really need to be making plays toward buffs, make high pressure on lanes, dewarding sides and pushing towers and stuff. But like, even in the second, like, they got the first dragon pretty clean. And the second dragon fight happened, they traded 3 for 2. But the reason why it was 3 for 2 is because Maokai ran in and Titus swapped Maokai when Chaos was in range. So really, like, they should have been able to just focus the carries, and they're only focusing Maokai and Blitzcrank. So they're getting kills in these team fights, which makes it look like they're closer than they are, but really they're not doing anything but killing their tank line. And right now they're getting a free Baron because the other team can't do anything to stop it. Yeah, this game's pretty much gone. The next game, oh yeah, Yellow Star got caught. Maybe they might even be able to get Terran if they go for him really fast. Yeah, I think they can get him if they get a good hook right here. Oh,
wow. So it is looking like Canada are going to take this one. You can see the Baron buff on them, picking that one up pretty easily. Also getting the kill. Just going to push the creep wave and go straight in on towards that inhibitor. It will be the first inhibitor of the game. And like you mentioned, it's a very good point. They're only ever taking really Blitzcrank or Maokai down to, they're not getting anyone important. And notice every single time KX is quite happily sat at the back going, you know what, I'm alright. I've got complete defenses in front of me. And it's going to be really hard for them to actually get past it. That is going to be the turret going down. And that Jack in the Box furiously carrying away is going to do absolutely nothing. You can see the Zeal, Last Whisper as well, and Infinity Edge, of course, completed by KX. KX is going to start really doing damage to those turrets, obviously, and Aurelia as well. Aurelia now has that Frozen Mallet, the Atmars in there as well. And Big Fat LP, he's struggled a little with Kassadin here, I feel, but he kind of got focused early on, but he's now starting to become very dangerous as well in levels. But it really is too late anyway, because I just cannot see any way back from France. And actually, France have not got a great deal of magic resist either.
No, they really don't. And this is the reason the Kassadin is such a popular pick. Even if you lose lane or get first blooded like GG did, his ability to come back because of how good his roam is and how good he is in team fights is sort of unstoppable. And if you notice, he's doing all this and he still doesn't even have death cap. So you can imagine when he does get the death cap, how quickly he's going to be able to kill people. He'll be able to take on, he could chunk, once he gets death cap, 3 out of the 5 characters on France, Shaco, Tarek, and Sion, really have and this is silly. Even though they've been chaos,
yeah, they have managed to get Kirk's down, which is the main damage dealer. Can they get anything else from it? So it looks like he will go down, and now Odir is down. He's the main damage dealer within there. Yellowstar was almost certainly going to get caught out. Urgot gets knocked back in towards his own turret and dealt with quite swiftly there. Aurelia now comes back around there. Hotshot GG will pick up a kill. The odd one actually in a little bit of trouble
again, they're trying to focus the tank line. They're trying to burst out Malphite, where if they would have used that damage more smartly on GG or Hotshot, they might have actually taken out a carrot.
Yeah, so they just dive through everything really at Chaos, and in turn I think they're going to lose their entire base. They've lost one inhibitor already. That's going to be the second. The super minions now coming in up the middle as well. They're just going to go straight through that line and take down the 2 Nexus turrets and the Nexus to follow. So France are the losers in the first match. Remember, it is a best of 3, so we're going to have another 2 matches possibly coming up, and CLG will close out the first game. So well played by them. And really, Jay, you called this one all the way through and basically said, you know, they're going to do well at the start, but Canada are going to come back. And it's exactly what happened. They just came back very strong. Chaos looking very relaxed there on the screen. Right. And Canada
just chilling out.
Just chilling out, yeah, and looking like... I thought one member got up and ran off. So I thought we might have a bit of a break on here. Obviously, we're going to have a small...